All right, here we go.
Okay, you ready?
Yep. Good evening, everyone. This is the We the Locals podcast. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are happy to have you here. My name is Josie.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Abby.
And we got Stu pushing our buttons over here.
Hello.
More ways than one.
Always pushing my buttons. Always.
Hey, that's my job.
Thank you. Like I said, thank you for joining us. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Salvo. Thank you for your sponsorship, Salvo. We'll talk more about that later on. And if you would like to support us, we are looking for sponsors to keep the lights on. So if you have a business or a campaign you would like to promote, you can reach out to us through our website. Or if you just like to drop us a little donation, you can do that either through our website or by giving us a Rumble rant if you are on Rumble, or a super chat if you are on YouTube. And Abby will be sure to read them when they come in. So we thank you in advance for that. And if you would also like, share, and subscribe to this episode and channel, we would greatly appreciate it. Please share it all around. We're going to be talking all things municipal elections.
Bonus episode.
It's our bonus episode.
Woo!
Happy bonus day. That's right. I keep forgetting
Leap
today's
day.
Leap Day. Happy Leap Day.
If you're 64, you're actually 16 today.
If your birthday's today. Yes. Lucky you people. I did see this little kid in Costco wearing this little crown, birthday crown, and it said February 29th on it. And I was like, oh, what are you two? It was super cute. So
cute.
yeah. So how is everybody doing?
Good.
Jessica, we missed you last episode.
Yes,
Sorry
yes.
that you
Yes.
weren't here. Glad you're back.
Yes, I'm sorry I missed last time too, but glad to be here tonight. I had to do my South County region responsibilities. We did have an REC meeting that night.
I got an excused absence. I did my
Yes,
duty.
Yes, you and Stu did. So thank you for shouting out to me. You guys did an excellent episode. What a great guest.
yeah, he was great.
It was great to just kind of watch and just take in all of the information. So that was pretty cool. So you guys did a great job. Definitely. And the REC meeting was actually one of the best meetings that we had in a while. We got a lot of work done. We were able to talk about election operations and communications and how we're going to roll out in the municipals. We're actually, as the REC, like we're endorsing candidates. So it's pretty exciting. And we are doing less meetings in the Hilton going forward. So most of the meetings and most of the work, so to speak, are going to be pushed into the regions.
I mean, that's where the work gets done anyway.
Yeah.
And I think that was always something that was lacking. Like, I remember being in 22, like, why aren't we doing more where we're signing people up to work at early voting? Like, they would. And I know Jody did a good job. She was always trying to get people there for early voting. But I felt like I was like, it wasn't coming from the dais of like, make sure, like they never said once in a meeting, make sure you go sign up to work at an early voting location.
Really?
Never, not
Nope.
once.
Not
Nope.
one.
And I was like, why is this only coming from one, like my regional director, like, or at the time it was District 5. But it just always bugged me so much that there was no like cohesive strategy to how we were going to motivate people and give people work. People want to work.
And
they
it
just
was-
don't know what to do.
Right, and it was very interesting. And it was a lot of work that we did through Region 5 that actually kind of catapulted this.
Yeah.
Because we originally started with 7 regions in the REC because that's what we did it was based on school board. But then there were several regions that just didn't have enough members in them. So
And
we
there's
had to-
overlap with the candidates and
Yeah.
overlap
Right.
with the districts. And it just seemed like you were working harder and not smarter.
Yeah. So, I mean, we lucked out being in South County because, I mean, geographically, Delray, Boynton, Boca are so large from east to west, and those are larger municipalities. But we have our north and our central region that I think one of them has 17 candidates, the other one has 11. So there's a lot of activity that's going on in North and Central County as it comes to candidates and the REC and how that's getting put out. So we had a meeting today actually about where the early polling locations are going to be and things of that nature. So, and I'm very excited to announce that we're doing party at the polls throughout the county. So I'm excited about that. So
Thank you. for those of you who missed it last time, Party at the Polls, Jessica and Stu organized. It was so much fun. We started on, it was a Saturday, right?
Yep.
And we started on one location and during early voting, and they brought music and
We had
blow up things.
big inflatables. We had people bring their flags. We had music, and we had one.
Candidates were there.
Yep. At one place, we had tailgating. They made breakfast.
Oh,
like-
yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I missed
so
that one.
That's
I
where the
joined
Democrats
it
were
later.
complaining and saying that they're having too much.
I had never seen so many Democrats' looks of defeat in my life.
Oh,
It was
honestly,
hilarious.
I'm not gonna lie.
It was
Working
great.
that election, I worked a lot at the Boca Raton Library. I manned the booth there like a lot during early voting, and the
Yep.
Democrats looked so sad the whole time. Their booth, no one was ever at their booth. They also had like a prime location spot too, which we then once we got our spot was even a little bit better. But as far as they hit more traffic by where people were, ours was better because it was in the shade and a little safer. And they were like on the corner where people go careening around. They just all look so sad. They wrapped up early all the time. Like they were never. I was just like, wow, they were so defeated in 22. So we're gonna keep that going.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yes, we are.
Yes. Yeah, so it was great. So knowing that like they're North and Central are kind of together because so many of their municipals are kind of that south portion of the North and the upper section of the Central. So we're basically, if that makes sense. So we're basically splitting it into like North and South is kind of what
Is it
we're
North
doing.
versus South?
Kind of. Not really. No competition by any means. But
well, healthy competition is good. It'll spur people to win.
yeah, but it's really exciting that people are going to see this activity around their polling locations, and hopefully, if nothing else, it gets people going, oh, what's that? What's that going on over there? Oh, there's an election. And hopefully, if they don't vote in that moment in early voting, they at least remember to vote on Tuesday. And so it's like, once people start talking about it, like, oh, yeah, I was at this thing, and, the Republicans had music and everything else, it creates this community awareness that really kind of gets people excited and motivated. And like I said, I think, throughout this election cycle so far is that I've really been focusing on education, engagement, and empowerment. And Party at the Polls kind of helps us do that. And it makes it fun where people are excited to kind of come out and talk. And I've also invited all of the 2024 candidates that are on the ballot for August and November to be at these Party at the Polls locations as well.
Perfect.
Because then that way they're already talking to their voters. They're already introducing themselves in March. So instead of who am I going to vote for in August and November, they've already been like, oh, yeah, I talked to that candidate. I know who that is. And
They're not only that, they're volunteering and working more
Yes.
because they've had enough time to get to know that candidate and sign petitions. Sign petitions.
yes,
Please.
please sign
Well,
petitions.
Somebody made a suggestion. I can't remember if it was today or another day, that come to the Party at the Polls or even during the whole time during the
Early voting.
early voting,
Early voting.
have a table there where these candidates can be there and have people sign their petitions
Yeah.
as they come in and
Yeah.
go out.
You just have to be, the thing is that whoever's doing that, if anybody's going to run with that, is you have to make sure that you have the maps for each of the petitions there. Because unlike in 22,
Right.
when you could sign anybody's petition because of redistricting, you have to live in the district, be registered voter in the district of the petition that you're signing. So you can't just go. It's not like you can just be like,
So you can't have somebody sign from the other side of state?
Nope. So they have to be in the district. So it does make it a little more difficult for the candidates. They have to be a lot more concentrated on who and more particular about who signs the petition. So I think it's a great idea. We just have to make sure that you have, if you're manning a booth where you have candidate petitions, because then also when all of those petitions have to be verified at the SOE, and you have to pay for the signature verifications. So you don't want to cost the candidates extra money by having a bunch of people sign petitions that are not in the district.
Yeah.
So
Right.
So speaking
This
of
is a
that,
note.
just to interject, I this week, candidate Commissioner Chris Eddy, who's running for CD25, he turned in, and he may be waiting on the final batch to be verified, but he hit the 5,000 petitions to
Wow.
not have to pay the $10,000 filing fee.
how did he do that?
They've been working since last summer.
Wow.
So Yvette Sarabona, who was John Brody's campaign manager, is Chris Eddy's campaign manager now. And she and her team have been out working since last summer, since July, hitting, community events, going to
5,000 petitions.
5,000. No, it's even more than that because they rejected.
Yeah.
They'll reject a certain portion of each batch
Do
because
you know the
of
percentage of rejection rate
his personally.
in general?
I don't know.
I'm just curious.
No, but yeah, he was at the BRAC meeting Monday night, and he said that he had they had turned in another batch I think that day, and he was feeling pretty good.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
It also
That's
looks really
cool.
good. It not looks really good. It's a good boost to
Bullet point too.
Yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
bullet point. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a good bullet point. It's a good thing to say to the voters that like 5,000 of your fellow like
right.
registered voters want me to be on the ballot.
Mhm.
Would you be willing
Yeah.
to discuss
And I think
voting
he
for
said, I think he put it on social media today. Like he's the first candidate in that district to ever do that.
Oh,
me? It's
wow.
District 25?
Yeah, Debbie Wasserman.
Debbie
Schultz
Wasserman
is-
Schultz. Dun, dun,
Oh.
dun.
Oh, so he's running against Wasserman Schultz.
Yes.
Well, does he have a primary?
I think there is going to be a primary, but I seriously doubt any of the other candidates have been out there working as hard as he has for as long as he has. So, plus he's currently a commissioner with the city of Weston, so he's got
That name
he's
recognition.
got that a little bit of name
Yeah.
recognition. I mean, the district's pretty big. It goes like all the way. It's like Hollywood, out west, part of Plantation. So it's like south and southwest part of the county, part of central. It's a
One of those. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
they're all like that.
districts.
Yeah.
I feel like our district in CD23 is a little bit more like
Well, it's along the coast.
it's along the coast, and then it goes
Out west.
Goes out
and it goes
west to
down. It's a little
Parkland,
bit
right?
more. I feel
Yeah,
like- yeah.
my
It goes
par-
to Parkland.
Yeah, my parents are in CD23. I'm in CD23,
Yeah.
and we live, about
Mhm.
12 miles apart.
I
east
mean,
to
the
west.
Moskowitz, who's the representative, is from Parkland.
Mhm.
So he's
So.
the Moskowitz. Moskowitz.
My dad refers to him as 5 Mouskowitz.
509.
Did you ever watch American Tail?
Oh, of course I watched American Tail. There's no cats in
In
America.
America.
The streets are paved with cheese.
That is
Oh,
not
yeah.
true.
There are definitely cats. And the streets are not paved with cheese. Much to all of our disappointment. The moon might be made of cheese, but streets are
movies.
not. Oh, yeah. We used to watch that a
Oh
lot
my
when I was a
God,
kid.
that's so fun. Yeah.
How about The Secret of Nim?
Yep.
Did you ever watch that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Such a great movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Mhm.
Okay.
Speaking of rats. So, anyway.
Speaking of rats, he was a mouse. Excuse me, 50 was not a rat. He was a mouse.
Well, there were
No.
rats in The Secret of
rats
Nim.
and Nixon
I'm
City,
just
yeah.
saying.
They were in like a laboratory.
Just saying. Okay, so what else you got, Jessica?
Just got coffee.
Sorry. Right when
sorry.
you took the sip.
Sorry. Well, I do have some county stuff. There was a workshop that was on Tuesday, I think. So I can give some updates about that, or we can go into the municipal candidates that throughout the county. So
Let's
do you
do
wanna start?
municipal first,
Yeah,
since we're kind
that's
of
what I was
already on
thinking.
that, and then we
Perfect.
can switch over to county if we
Yeah.
have time.
So I'm gonna start running through the municipal candidates.
Get a pen.
That the Republican Party or the RAC is supporting at this point. So we have Brian Stenberg and Boca Raton City Council.
Right, which can I interject for a second?
Yes.
Okay, so this race is very, very important.
Very.
Because the Democrats, to give a little bit of history for your new to our viewers, Andy Thompson was elected to the city council in a special election, and then he got reelected unopposed in 2020. He then decided to resign from that seat to run against Peggy Gossett-Simon for the House District 80. 80, right?
No.
81. 90.
No, 90.
90. Sorry. Do all the numbers. For 90.
91.
91, because Bill's running in 90. Told you all the numbers.
Too many numbers.
Too many numbers. So Andy was the up and coming. The rumor on
The
the street
poster
was the
child.
poster child, the up and coming one that was going to save the Democratic Party because they wanted him to go to House of Representatives and then all the way up to governor. And he's going to be the one to save Florida,
Florida Dems.
the Florida Dems. So they poured a lot of money into his race. They put a lot of hate ads out there against Peggy. It was intense. Peggy won.
By a
Woo,
lot.
by a decent amount. Yeah, she won. It was not even like questionable. She won. And so then Andy decided that he has to come back to Boca to ask for his job back. And the Democrats are still, I think they are still hoping that if they just get him back onto city council and let him lay low on city council in a few years, he'll be able to run
They'll
again.
try it
'Cause
again.
they're going to try the same thing again because he's young, he's good looking, he's got the family and the whole thing. He's very approachable for people, and I think he's got plenty of time because politicians stay in office until they're 80. So, we got 40 years with him if we really want him to. So I really would love, not just because I want to see Brian get elected, but also because I'd really love to send a message to the Democratic Party of Florida that we're not going to play these games with our future. They're playing all these chess pieces, putting this person here and this person here so they can move all these things and then they can advance what they want. No, we want good people that are going to do good things for our cities and for our counties and for our state, not the person who's going to advance your political goals. So I would love to send a message to them by getting Brian elected that no, you can't do that. We're not going to play these games anymore.
And Boca doesn't need another attorney to represent us on the city council.
He's an attorney?
Yeah.
Yep.
And
there's already 2 attorneys or 3. Definitely 2.
But
there might be more.
Well, then you have the pseudo attorney council member that's really the attorney, but acts like a council
like
member.
a council member. Yep. Her.
So
Either
one.
After we posted our thread on Twitter the other day, or X, formerly known as Twitter, I did go to his profile and he mentioned, I don't remember reading that he's an attorney. I did see he was like a professor at FAU.
That I don't even know. Also, shout out to the Cornerstone employee that has to listen to our episodes in case we talk about Brian. Hope you learned something. Thank you for the shout out.
Yes.
The entire city of Boca now knows who we are.
Yes, and it's really We the Locals podcast.
Yeah.
We're not We the Locals show, so it's We the Locals.
So if you could
podcast.
fix that, we'd really appreciate it.
So we want to make sure that we get that the show's correct, so people can find us.
And I just think it's I just think it's so ironic. Obviously I'm on the Broward side of the county line, and the Sun Sentinel is just clutching its pearls over the fact that the Republican Party is getting involved in these municipal races and supporting our candidates and trying to get Republicans elected in a nonpartisan race. I mean, the Republican Party exists to get Republicans elected. It's not rocket science. But they're clutching their pearls over that. Uh-oh.
They don't wear pearls. This is the Republicans.
But meanwhile, like, this Florida Politics article comes out, and they're like, the Florida Dems have identified these certain races in the state.
One of them being this race. Brian and Andy.
And crickets about the Florida Dems being involved in March municipal races,
But clutch the pearls.
Clutching the pearls.
Yeah. And the thing of it is that Thompson is putting a lot of money into this race. I mean, I've probably gotten 3 or 4 text messages. I have gotten probably 3 or 4 emails.
They haven't sent any more text messages or me any more mailers since I responded back to the last text message. I was like,
and I've gotten a handful of mailers as well. So it also tells me he is going after Republicans, NPAs, and Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things.
He tried to pass himself off as a Republican or as a neutral party person for so long, right. And that was done. That he showed his true colors in 22.
So he broke up with Boca, and now he wants us back. And I think we need to say, I'm sorry, we've been there, we've done that. And Brian has worked really hard to not only earn the trust of the constituents of Boca, but also to really learn what needs to happen on the city council as well. So I think that's a big, I think that's huge too, because he's put a lot of work into this, and he definitely deserves the win. So we get an opportunity to vote for him, on March 19th. So we're all in for Brian Stenberg, of course. And then,
oh wait, there's one more thing I was going to say on that. Yeah. Sorry, where'd it go? In my head. It's in my head somewhere. This is just to point out, too, on a lot of Andy's mailers or a lot of the things he's saying about Brian, he's taking things, of course, way out of context, so to correct the record. And Brian is a very honest candidate. Mm-hmm. Like, he said, Andy's accusing him of saying that Brian said that he's going to raise the taxes. And Brian's like, honestly, if something doesn't change, we're either going to lose services or we're going to have to raise the taxes because of mismanagement of previous administrations on the council, which include Andy Thompson's time in the council.
Absolutely.
So he's not going to sugarcoat things and say, I'm just going to lower taxes. I mean, I know Brian. I know he's very conservative, and I know he will if he can. but he's also like, what is going to be at the cost of what? And let's be realistic about where we're at.
He's ready to have that tough conversation with the city
And
where nobody else is willing
they
to.
literally just kick the can down the road. And again, if we're in a situation where there's been mismanagement of funds or where the money has been spent to the point where that we have to raise taxes in order to maintain our services or whatever it may be down the road, again, that goes back to Andy was on the council for 5 years. And then also Andy's claiming that he's got all the solutions for traffic. He's got proven experience to have solutions for the traffic, and Brian has no solutions. Brian's very honest. He's like, there are no solutions. They overbuilt. There's not enough roads. There aren't a lot of solutions. What's Andy's solution? He hasn't ever said what his solution is, has he? I haven't heard it.
There was a few points on the mailer, but it's like also like, why didn't he do it before?
Why didn't he do it before?
And if he was if he really cared about the city, he would have put forth that option even when he wasn't council.
If he would have cared so much about the city, he wouldn't have resigned his job to go get another one. I find that so insulting. That he resigned his job to go get another one, and now he comes back and claims he cares so much about the city. It makes me...
Yeah. When Brian's been there the whole time. And go by behavior and actions. And if you vote with your gut, it's going to put you in
so if you support Brian, he's door knocking, he's texting... Let's help him get over the finish line. Okay, I'm done with my rant over for right now. I might need another soapbox later, so I'm not putting it away. I'm just going to move it to the side.
Okay, so now we're going to go...
Just to let you guys know, we're not live anymore because our internet went down. Like the internet is out, but we'll keep recording.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, so hi. If you're listening on recorded, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. So we're going to move on to Delray Beach. We have Inez Bartholomew. Sorry. Who's doing well in her race. I believe the latest numbers that came out was that she is trailing Julie
Caselli.
Yeah, that's how it's pronounced, right? By a little bit. So hopefully Inez is out there knocking doors and getting forth that next effort. I know that the REC is pushing out text messages for Inez, getting people out there to the polls. So she's in a neck to neck, so make sure that we're supporting her. Tom Carney is running for Delray Beach mayor. I am hearing he is ahead right now. He does seem to be pulling into a slight lead. He's been very vocal out there in the community, getting people involved, and so that's really awesome. And then in Green Acres, there are two candidates that we want to shout out for is Eddie Alaya and Fuel Dogic. I shouldn't be the one talking these names because I can barely speak English. So those are the two Green Acres candidates. We have Hypoluxo running for mayor is Brad Doyle. We have Juno Beach Town Council is Dean Athen. Lake Park Commissioner is Rafael Mascasco. And I'm sorry if I'm butchering these names. I'm trying my best. We have two running in Loxahatchee Groves Town Council, seat 1 and seat 3. One of those is Phyllis Mangalia, which is seat 1. And then seat 3 is Anita Kane. We have North Palm Beach Village Council Group 3. We have two candidates running there, Orlando Poyoil and William Zagaria. I hope that's correct. I'm sorry. We have one candidate running in Ocean Ridge, which is just east of Boynton Beach. Nick Asaria. I think that's...
Arsali.
Arsali. That sounds right. I know that he's looking for help, so if there's anybody around the Ocean Ridge, reach out to Nick Asari. He's looking to get support there. We have a couple Pahokee commissioners. We have seat 1 and seat 2. We have Juan Johnny Gonzalez and Sarah Perez. I'm hearing great things about Sarah Perez.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about her. I don't know if I've ever met her. But
is she the incumbent?
I think so. Didn't she win in a special
she
election?
She won like 2 years ago.
I think it was a special election. I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe something. I don't know.
Could be.
If you know, let us know.
And then we have Palm Beach Town Council is Bridget Morin. Royal Palm Beach Mayor and our next guest that will be on our podcast next Thursday, 1 week from today, is Steve Avelia. So we're very excited to talk with Steve. He's a fun guy, and he is knocking it out of the frickin' park. He is knocking doors every day. He has all of his streets in Royal Palm Beach. His signs are everywhere, so he's doing a great job. We have Tequesta Village Council seat 5 is Rick Sortori. That I'm hearing is, I think he's an incumbent. Was he in that seat already?
That name sounds really familiar.
Isn't that Wendy Link's maiden name?
It's Wendy Link's brother.
Oh, that's why that name sounds familiar. Ding, 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 ding.
So I know, rumor is he is looking to be at the early polling location. So if you're interested and early voting starts, go out and talk to him. He's supposed to be out there. Wellington Village Council, we have 1 and 2 for 4. So we have Amanda Silvestri, who I'm hearing is doing really well in her race.
She'll probably do well. She ran for school board in 22.
Yep. Maria Antuna. And then we have Michael Parto. Those are all Village of Wellington seats. And then for the council seats. And then we have 2 running for mayor, Bart Novak and Michael Napolone. I can never say his name right. And then West Palm Beach Commissioner for District 5. It's an at-large seat, but it is by districts. So West Palm Beach Commissioner Matthew Luciano. I happened to listen to a couple interviews that he did. Pretty impressive. He seems to really kind of know what's going on in the city. And then there's a big highlight of crime. And I didn't realize how much crime.
Which city?
West Palm Beach.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, I guess they're having a lot of issues in like the northern corridor areas when it comes to crime, mainly drugs, prostitution, and
it's a port city. I mean, it's near the port. It's
petty theft type things, break-ins, things of that nature. So definitely, and he is a Republican running in West Palm Beach. So shout out to him, and give lots of prayers.
Oh my gosh,
thoughts and prayers.
He's definitely gonna need it, and any help that he can get, I'm sure that he would appreciate. So those are the municipal candidates that I have running in Palm Beach County. So we're gonna keep an eye on these up until Election Day. Keep an eye out, for your candidates. Make sure that you're communicating with them. If you're on the fence with anybody, there's the list. And
get out and help them. If you find someone, get out and help them. It's very interesting. I was in Delray yesterday for an art and jazz festival. It was very lovely. The weather was amazing. It was beautiful. And I was driving through the neighborhood where I was needing to park. And, of course, they're the height of elections, so there's signs everywhere. And this one house had 3 yard signs. There's 3 seats up for it. So, but the mixture of people. So it was Tom Carney, Tom Market, and Julie Caselli in their yard. And I was like, that's just so fascinating. It really is nonpartisan races.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we talked about the party getting behind it, and the parties do get behind certain candidates, and absolutely, I think we should. But to people...
That's a Republican, an NPA,
Yeah.
I know.
That's what
that was my point. I was like, I should have taken a picture. I was driving and I couldn't take a picture. And I was just like, this is the epitome of what local politics should be. Now, we have to get involved from the party standpoint because the Democrats have for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, why do they control all of the municipalities when some of these municipalities have more registered Republicans than Democrats? Because that's what they do. So we're finally, catching up. We're going to play football instead of, foosball. And so, but it's just fascinating because to most of the constituents and most of the people, they just wanted the right person for the right job. And it's our job as precinct committee people, as caring people, as concerned citizens is the better word than caring, concerned citizens to help them meet the people that they are running and show them why these people might be a good choice to consider. Because, I mean, you just never know what people are going to do. You got 3 completely different probably ideologies, but they care about the city, and that's who that person has decided to publicly support with the signs in their yard. And I just found that the most fascinating snapshot of what local politics is, municipal politics.
Well, there's a lot of talk that I've been hearing too of actually not making the municipals nonpartisan.
Yeah, actually, they're talking about passing a bill.
I
the
have
Florida
mixed
legislature.
feelings about that. I would like to see it go back to being really nonpartisan versus it becoming more and more partisan, because I feel like the partisan politics pushes this. Like when it comes to things like roads and like,
I agree with you.
We all live in the same neighborhood. We all want the best things for our neighborhood.
But
so,
also the thing of it is that given the fact of the way that the party has infiltrated, or the way that the party is used on the Democrat side,
right? That's what I'm saying.
That I would much rather have it be more in your,
clear.
I'd like it to just be clear. Like where are you at in your ideology? I can't. I'm telling you, once it gets like past 7:00, I don't know how to talk anymore.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if I could have my perfect world, I would like to go back to before. Right. That's where I would like to go. Go back to being like, you cannot. It is like stricter policies or penalties to the party or to whoever it may be if they are publicly supporting.
But then they shouldn't be able to accept money from a party or a PAC or anything of that nature. Well, that's what I'm saying. So then
maybe it goes that direction instead, because then I mean, I know it would impact candidates, but it would also force the candidate to have to. But also, we wouldn't
be in the situation like we are, for instance, with Andy and Brian. You know, it's like Andy's being backed by a party. Yeah. There's a lot of money that's coming at him, and Brian,
and PACs, he's getting backed by PACs.
Yeah, and it's like Brian's really working the grassroots effort, which I think is going to really pay off for him.
Yeah, right. But that's what I'm saying. If they couldn't accept that PAC money, and they couldn't accept party money, and they couldn't accept any of that, and they had to really just do it on their own, I feel like it would give us a much better
level the playing field.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, and then you wouldn't have these placeholders in these positions until something better comes
along.
They would actually be invested and want to be in the city and want to represent the city that they're running for. So I definitely agree. It either needs to be more transparent or that it needs to be truly nonpartisan, and to do that would be to eliminate the backing from the parties on either side and make it sure that they are getting grassroots candidate or voter support.
Yeah, because then they have to go out and to the voters, and the voters have to ask them, what do you feel about this? What do you feel about that? And they would have to fess up to how they feel about things instead of playing like.
And the thing that's sad
is nonpartisan race
is these candidate forums and things that I've been to. That nobody shows up.
Well, we're gonna watch. I'm gonna predict the turnout of the total votes probably in Boca are gonna be probably anywhere from 10 to 12,000.
Out of how many registered voters?
56,000. No, we have 100,000 residents, but we don't have 100,000 registered voters.
You're right.
I want to say maybe 50. I don't know. Brian will know. Well, he's not watching at the moment because we're not live. But Brian, if you do listen, if you could drop in the comments and let us know, that'd be great.
Alicia's resetting the router for us.
Okay. Will it log us back? Will we be able to pick it back up?
I hope so, yeah.
Okay.
TBD. But we're going to keep on going.
Thanks, Stu.
We're live.
Thanks, Stu and Abby, for working that out. I know. I saw you guys over there. I was like, uh-oh, what's going on? I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to keep talking.
Yeah. Speaking of forums, the Broward League of Women Voters is holding a Lauderdale by the Sea candidate forum Monday evening.
Did they invite all the candidates?
I believe they did. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they did when I ran 2 years ago. They invited all the candidates.
That was one I liked doing, the League of Women City whatever.
If we didn't have Locals for Liberty Monday night, I would totally go to the forum just to see with my popcorn because they're doing it in person. They're doing it in person this time, as opposed to the past couple years where
mine was on Zoom.
Right.
And so I guess we can switch gears to Broward and talk about this
absolutely
much smaller pool. We've talked about it a little bit. One of the first episodes this month. 3 towns there's technically there should have been 5 cities that had March municipals in Broward, but
will you have a lot more like next year
in November?
Oh, in November.
The majority of the cities in Broward County have November elections.
Why don't we have our elections in November?
It's better for the municipal candidates to have them in March
You
because you
think?
don't get lost in the down ballot.
Yeah, but at least people are out voting.
Lighthouse Point decided to keep theirs in March because they feel like the voters that turn out are a more informed electorate
Yeah.
and that they pay attention and they research and they
Sure.
they do their homework. Whereas maybe an argument could be made that the November voters really only care about the top of the ticket and they don't know what they're doing.
Right,
further
especially
down.
if it's nonpartisan, they don't know they're not gonna see the R's or D's down
Right,
ballot.
right.
So they're just gonna be like, whatever, I don't know.
And
this
it's just,
person.
I mean, like, think about. I dread TV and the ads come fall because there's just political ads nonstop. Not that I watch a lot of TV, but it's just like that's all you see. And if you're just like the average citizen,
You're
it's
like,
like blah blah
over
blah blah
it.
blah, and then
Yeah.
it's like
It's just like Charlie Brown's.
Yeah, wah, wah.
It's like the mailers you get. You just throw them away. It's like
Except
you
for if
don't
you're
even-
crazy like me, I have files of them.
that was amazing.
How did I not know that?
I do have files. I either have files or I keep the screenshots of ones that have been sent. So some of them I didn't get. So the ones that I
Right.
sent. I sent some to Abby on Andy because for the
For the Twitter post.
Yes,
the
thank you.
X
That's the word I'm looking for, the X post. And I had to go back into previous chats because some of them I didn't have. And I was like, this because he didn't mail it to me because I'm not a Democrat. So I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I didn't get that one. I knew I'd seen a picture of it, so I had to go back through. And
I
like,
got all of them.
so
Yeah.
because why did you get all of them?
I don't know. We're
I
all
remember you
registered.
saying that.
We're all registered Republicans in
So-
my
He's
house.
sending
Okay,
I
so-
think he's sending it to everybody.
Actually, so you mean in 22 you got them?
No.
Oh well, no, because I just
Oh yeah,
moved.
no, he's sending them to everybody. But I know I'm talking about the ones that from 22 where he was like super partisan because I wanted to send Abby a couple to use for the X post to show like
Oh, the
who-
way that he's kind of switched gears
Yeah.
a little bit.
who he really is, and now
Right,
he's who he's trying to pass
right.
himself off to be. So, so I pulled out my file. I have files of
You're
mailers.
right. I should keep them.
I keep them
You're
because
right.
I want to use
We're
them
back
for.
online.
Yay! We're
Welcome,
back. Hi,
hopefully.
welcome back. If
We're
you're
back
just
on
joining
YouTube.
us.
I'm checking in on Rumble here.
If you're back to watching us, sorry, our feed went down. We kept the conversation going. So if you missed that little bit of window of time, we'll be uploading the full episode later on tomorrow, right, Abby?
You'll want to pause
Yeah, well-
and take notes anyway. So
Yeah, because
it
we
will
went through a
work
whole
best
list of
for you.
candidates. So so definitely check out the little window that we missed.
Rumble
We
is
we
still
kept it going.
It is still going.
Circle of death.
Oh,
of death.
let me look.
It's been a really long week.
Yeah. Now it's back. It's back.
Okay,
Yep.
so if you're just joining us back on Rumble and YouTube, thank you so much. Sorry about our little mishap there. Our Wi-Fi in the building went down. We got back up and running, but we did keep the episode going, so we will be uploading the full episode, Abby, later tonight or tomorrow?
Probably tomorrow.
Tomorrow will be fully uploaded, so if you missed the little window, definitely go back and watch that last half hour, 20 minutes, whatever, maybe. I don't even know where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Sometimes.
can't remember when it
Lots
was.
of good information.
Lots
in
of
there.
great information. Okay, so Broward County.
Let me respond to our podcast studio owner real quick.
Okay. Shout out to our podcast studio owner. She's amazing.
Yes, I mean, how many landlords, I guess you could say, would be helping you through tech issues while you're live?
While you're live.
So, anyways, back to Broward County. So, Lighthouse Point, all 3 seats ran unopposed, including yours truly. So, there's no municipal elections. I get sworn in less than 4 weeks away.
Can we live stream it?
I don't know about that. I mean, if you want to go live on your phone for the first
That's
few
what I'm
minutes,
saying. I can go live on Twitter. I can go live on X and live stream it from the We the Locals channel.
if you want to do that, more power to you. I'm
What day
gonna
is
be-
it?
It's a Tuesday night,
The
What day?
26th, right?
26.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll be holding my hand up and
No, I know you won't be, but I'm just saying that would be so fun. Let us know. Drop us in the comments if you want me to live stream through X, which means you need to like us on X and follow us on X.
That's where we
formerly
get the
known as Twitter.
spiciest.
That's where we do get the spiciest.
Yes.
The sassy
And-
comes out.
And we're verified.
Yes, and we're verified. We have Twitter Blue. So let
Not
us know.
verifiable. Verified.
If you want me to live stream Abby's swearing in
Woo!
of
I
our
say
own.
yes.
So
I mean, right?
yeah, so no municipal elections in Lighthouse Point this go round.
It's crazy that all of the seats
It-
unopposed. It's because of Form 6.
Form 6, yeah.
Yeah.
Hillsborough Beach, the Broward REC is supporting 2 candidates in Hillsborough Beach. That is the incumbent Jane Reiser and candidate Rich Krusko, which he ran last year and unfortunately was unsuccessful. He's giving it another go. I think he's a great guy. I know him personally. And Both candidates are great candidates. So that's fairly small scale election. I think there's only like, I want to say 1,800 voters
Altogether,
voters?
that's
Yeah.
it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, tiny little
Tiny.
town. It's
Then,
like tiny breezes. It's okay.
yes, exactly. Then we've got Lauderdale by the Sea. There's 3 seats, the mayor and 2 commission seats. I think, it is a town commission in Lauderdale by the Sea. We are endorsing for each seat Ed Malcoon for mayor, John Graziano and Richard DiNapoli for the 2 commission seats. Like I said a few
And
minutes
we
ago,
meaning Breck, right?
Broward GOP, yes.
Okay.
There's-
Not necessarily we the locals. Just we're
Correct,
Just, okay.
correct. We, because I am a member of the Broward Republican Party.
Not saying we're not. I'm just clarifying for the record.
For the record, the League of Women Voters in Broward is having the candidate forum Monday night for the Lauderdale by the Sea candidates. I'm trying to think. Maybe I feel like one of the seats has 3 candidates, so there might be a total of like 7 candidates
Wow.
on the forum.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Let's see.
How many voters are in
What's
there?
going on by
There's under
Lauderdale
5,000.
by the sea?
There's under 5,000 voters, and they got 7 candidates.
Yeah, for 3
Pretty good.
seats.
It's pretty good.
Wow. Is there like big issues going on there? Or?
Well, I don't know if you guys saw in the news last week, but that's where that sinkhole or that kid died on the beach.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
He
The
fell
little
in
girl?
Yeah.
It was a
It was
little
a
boy,
and a girl.
Yep.
She died though.
She
Yeah.
died. Yeah.
So sorry.
that was in Lauderdale by the Sea.
Oh, I did know that.
Yeah.
We used to go there all the time when I was a kid. For
It's a great little
vacation.
town.
Yeah.
Like
Like
they have
staycation,
great
vacation.
they have great like height restrictions that you can't, unlike neighboring Pompano and Galt Ocean Mile, which is just south of Lauderdale by the Sea, who have like the real tall condo buildings on the beach. They are limited to I think 3 stories in Lauderdale by the Sea, so it kind of keeps that sleepy seaside town.
Yeah. That's how it was when we were kids.
Yeah.
We would go for my parents would to get away,
Mm-hmm.
go to the beach for the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so that's Lauderdale by the Sea, and then obviously our last episode we had candidate Pembroke Pines candidate Glenn Theobald on.
Which, by the way, the same article where they were talking about coming after Brian and supporting Andy as being one of the key seats to flip.
Yes,
His seat is one of those as well.
Rodriguez.
Something like that.
It's
Yes.
I believe it's Maria Rodriguez, and she, from what I understand, is like a mini AOC. She is a staff in one of the Broward County Commissioner's office. She still lives at home with her family. She is actively supported by the Florida Dems.
Yes. So that's one. There was
and on her mailer, on her flyer, it is proudly endorsed by the Pembroke Pines Democratic Club, but. Heaven forbid the Republicans endorse their candidates in Lauderdale by the Sea.
Oh my goodness.
and in Pembroke Pines, right?
Well, the Sun Sentinel did not make as big of a stink about us endorsing in Pembroke Pines as we
'cause
did.
they don't want
they did.
They don't want to draw attention down there because he's probably winning.
I think he is. I mean, he like Chris Eddy. Glenn has been out knocking doors
since
and talking
July.
to people since last summer, and I knocked
so
doors
much so that he knocked all the doors already, and now he's going back for
he's
a
already
second
hit,
round.
Yes, he has already hit every door, and I was walking with him 2 Saturdays ago now, like the Saturday after we had him on, and we were recovering a neighborhood that he had already walked once before, and it was great. I mean, like he had it down to a science. There was like maybe half a dozen of us. There was 1 police officer. There was a couple of us Breck members. And we just they were kind of 0 lot line houses, so it just made walking so easy. He would tell us the address, the house numbers, and we'd fan out. We'd knock the doors. Obviously if they didn't answer, we'd leave the hangar. But if they did answer and they wanted to ask questions, then Glenn was right there.
We're like, hey, come here.
And we'd wave him over, and he'd come talk to the resident. And I mean, it was great. Like,
Had people already been like, oh yeah, I met you last time?
there were some people that were like, oh yeah, I already turned in my vote by mail ballot for you. So
That's
it
so
was
awesome.
It was a really good experience. He was really well. Glenn's super organized. It just good things are happening in the southwest part of the county.
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I
That's
hope
great
I hope
news.
I'm excited. I'm excited for March 19th.
Yeah.
We're gonna see some really great things.
So yeah.
I think I'm really hoping that people just decided to get involved and do research and figure out like who these people are and really understanding that they represent.
It's hard because we live in this world.
Yeah.
Like we think everyone. We're like, why wouldn't you know what's going on? But
Yeah.
you're right. It is. It's hard. Sometimes I got to remind myself. I got to take myself out of it. I know people who they don't live in this world. They don't know who or what or how, and they do come to us. They come to podcasts, or they come to us personally, or they go to their friends, or if they care enough to even ask the questions. And so we gotta. It's just that reality perspective of like not everyone's as involved as I am on all the things.
What? You don't know who commissioner candidate so and so is?
What's wrong with you? You can't rattle off all the candidates running in the South County
That's
area.
why I get so excited about doing things like Party at the Polls, because it just gives people an opportunity.
Okay,
to
so
kind of
when is Party at the Polls?
It's the last weekend of early voting in Palm
right
Beach
before
County.
St. Patty's Day, right?
Yep. So very interesting. We're going to be in Delray Beach that would be the 16th. I think it's from 2.
It is going to be chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, which I'm counting
Delray
on.
have a big parade?
Yes. Yes.
Parade
Right
and
after.
festival.
Yeah.
Yes. So
it's chaos.
So they have the Palm Beach County, or they have the St. Patrick's Day parade that ends at 2. So we're going to be doing Party at the Polls from 2 to 6. Did I say? Hold on.
You said 4 hours.
Hold on. I don't know. Maybe I did.
I did not. Say
I get so excited. I'm just like, oh, yeah, 2 to 6 on Saturday. So I'm hoping right after, people after the parade.
There's a festival there that goes, though, I think until 5.
Yep. So I think it's going to be, it's right downtown, the Delray Community Center. So we're going to see how it's going to work. And then hopefully we can, if it's slow, we'll be out saying, hey, have you voted? Come vote.
Yeah.
So we get an opportunity to kind of mingle with the community.
Get petitions signed.
And then
For Bill.
And then
You better show up then, Josie.
Yeah. And then
We're going to be there.
Yeah. And then Sunday, March 17th, we're going to be at the Spanish River Library from 11 to 2. And we're going to be
In Boca.
In Boca. And then in Boca at the downtown library from 4 to 6 on Sunday.
On St. Patrick's Day.
On St. Patrick's Day.
I might have to bring some. Never mind.
Bring your green beer.
Corned beef and cabbage.
So I have gotten great
Irish soda bread.
response from the candidates. They want to be at these events. And then the locations that are going to be north, it looks like is where are they going to be? On Sunday, it looks like Gaines Park Community Center and Royal Palm Beach Library. And then on Saturday, it looks like Wells Recreation and Jupiter Community Center. And there's one other location that I don't have right at this particular moment.
So don't forget, for early voting, you can vote at any polling
Anywhere in the
site
county.
in the county.
Anywhere in
So
the
if
county.
you are at Party at the Polls in an area, it doesn't matter what your precinct is, you can vote there. Make it a party with your friends. Bring your friends. Grab your neighbors. Grab your friends. Tell all your people, hey, let's go vote together. Bring your kids. Take them in.
It's
They
a
love the
great-
I-voting stickers.
It's a
I-voted
great
stickers.
opportunity to learn who the candidates are
Yeah.
and to ask questions. So hopefully we have enough volunteers in the Republican Party and candidates go to their early polling locations throughout early voting, which is March 9th through the 17th, where they can, so if candidates are out there, people should be able to meet them, interact with them, ask them questions. The Party at the Polls is a great opportunity to hopefully meet those August and November candidates. And if you want to get involved, what a great way to show up in a party type environment and see if this is something that you want to be part of and help volunteer, or be like, you know what, I want to help a candidate this, for the fall. Come out and meet a candidate and get their information and be able to door knock and make phone calls or text if you want to help the party. You do not have to be a member of the REC, in Palm Beach County or Broward to volunteer for a candidate. So if you are interested and want to do that, don't hesitate to reach out to either BRAC or the Palm Beach County REC. We have a whole volunteer program that will get you teamed up with either a candidate or with our banking centers to be able to do those calls and texting. We have a great, I can't stress enough what the opportunity that we have in front of us right now.
Yeah.
And the NPAs are going to be leaning so right, it's not even funny. So if we just get out and announce who our Republican candidates are, more than likely those NPAs will vote for those candidates, just because of what's going on federally and everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, can I take a turn for just a second?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
had
sure.
a thought today that I wanted to share with everyone. It's kind of a reminder as we're going into this year that when we're talking to candidates, and I guess this like perspective comes in a lot more working behind the scenes, working with candidates, is that a lot of times I think we forget that when candidates are running, they do have their own opinions, their own viewpoints, their own morals, their own standards. But what their job, a lot of them, what they're running for is to represent.
Yes.
And so we get asked a lot of questions from the perspective of Bill's campaign on difficult issues that sometimes have a personal answer, and sometimes there's the political answer because as like just using it as an example, when he gets elected, he's there to represent what the constituents want.
Mm-hmm.
And it is up to us to help people understand what we want as people. And like that's why like podcasts, like to talk about the issues, to talk about big things, so that way we can be educated about what we want to tell our representatives to represent us for. And if we're not doing that, then they're going to go with the loudest voices in the community. And it's hard because it's a hard place for some like people to be in. I mean, I ran once for office, and you'll be getting there when you're like, I have to balance what I would want to have and what the 15 people who have called me and said this is what they want, and they all want this. So where do you find that balance? And how do you reconcile those things? And I want to kind of encourage us as constituents and voters to make sure that we have that understanding when we're talking to our elected officials, that it is not always black and white. And that we might disagree on. Somebody said, if you agree with me on 100%, who was it? Agree with me 100%.
Steve Abrams said that.
Yeah, but he quoted someone else.
Yeah, it was a quote from someone. I think he
else.
mentioned it in his Facebook post.
He did. But so like we're not going to have that situation where that happens. And to understand that the people that we're electing are representatives, it's literally in the title of a lot of what the jobs are. I mean, I know council people, it's a little bit different, but it's still, you are a representative of what the people want. And that's the job we're electing them to. And it's up to us, like I said, to reiterate, it's up to us as voters to make sure that we're letting our voices be heard of what we want to have represented, what our opinions are, so that we're represented correctly, and that we're working and building connections and relationships in our community so we can discuss some of these topics and some of these issues, so we can maybe come to a consensus and say, listen, we as a community want you to vote this way on this issue because this is why. But if we're not ever talking to our neighbors, or we're not ever talking to the people across the aisle or anything like that about some of these issues, how are we going to find that? And again, they're just going to, once the representative is going to go with the loudest voice or whatever it may be. So, I just had this thought today as I was driving, thinking about the word representative, thinking about what the job is and what someone who steps into that job, what their role actually is. And for us to remember that, because I think it's easy to forget.
And I think, this kind of ties into the role of the party and the REC and us as precinct committee men and women. Like, we are the boots on the ground in the neighborhoods, and we are the ones that are supposed to be talking to our neighbors, mostly Republican, but not always. I mean, like, if there's an issue that affects most of the issues at the local level are nonpartisan. Right. They're, kitchen table economics and infrastructure and stuff like that.
And even at the state level, there are some things that are very party related, but a lot of it is infrastructure. Why aren't they fixing why insurance? It affects all of us. Yeah. It doesn't affect insurance more or less because I'm a Republican or a Democrat.
Correct. Yeah. So I mean, it's our job as precinct committee men and women to get out there and talk to our neighbors, and when those issues come up in the community that we need to get some support, or we need to provide our electeds with input on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We have to be able to know what the issue is and say, otherwise the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah. Or, people just don't pay attention for most of the year, and then they get real screamy, when the budget...
About a week before the budget
while they're doing the first and second readings of the budget. And, by that point, it's too late because it's got to be filed with the state.
Which is happening right now. So budgets, but they're starting to be discussed.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about county stuff?
Well, it is starting to go into budget season, so this is the time to, pay attention. But there's a lot of aspects of that. I don't know how else to tell it to people, except for there's this big thing talking about, on the federal levels, there's all of this stuff coming out about NGOs with the open border and all of this kind of stuff. So
non-governmental organizations, NGOs.
Right. So the thing of it is that happens right here in Palm Beach County and Broward County and all across the state too. Yep. So it's like in the county, we have a $7.7 billion budget. And a lot of that money comes, like the county's like a pass through. It comes from from state and federal funds that then, I don't want to say necessarily strings attached, but they're programs.
Well, they're grants, and you have to follow these certain stipulations and guidelines in order to qualify and then retain that money.
Right. And so that's where it's like these little strings or little things that get attached of equity and all of these like Democrat, socialist, type of buzzwords come into play, and it gets funneled through the county and into the cities. So it's like we really need to, there's a ton of nonprofits that are absolutely amazing in Palm Beach County that do amazing work and that we should be honored and blessed to have that do the work that they do. But there are also some that may not be so great and that use this money for things that we may not want in our cities or our towns or our counties. And so when it comes to the budget, like, yes, there's all of those line items, but it's also like, where is our charitable stuff going is so important, that I don't think that people kind of realize how that gets funneled through and then how it affects our society with these programs or these, what's another word for like the outreach that they do, things of that nature. So we're finding out now on a federal level that there's this big push for, getting out the vote. But is that on a partisan line? Is that on a nonpartisan line? We don't know because of the way that the money gets filtered through. And so when you're really looking at the budget, it's so important. Like, yes, what the SOE, what the sheriff, all of that kind of stuff is important too, that have their own budget, their own budgets that also that the county has to deal with. But to really understand that there's so much more to it, that we need to start calling out if those charitable organizations or things of that nature, if people have had a bad experience,
right?
Those things don't really get advertised, and then our county dollars are going to fund, or grants from the state. At the end of the day, it's still our money.
Yeah.
Whether it's, coming from our county or the state or federal, we're still paying for it.
Still tax dollars.
Right. So, that's just one thing that I kind of want to kind of bring some attention to, because there's a lot of investigations coming out federally of how these NGOs are getting taxpayer dollars to move migrants and stuff around the world, basically, and then into our backyard.
Yeah.
And
they're coming from Africa, they're going to South America, coming up through Central America and coming here, and they're not. It's insane. And it all happens through charitable dollars through our government. Yeah.
And that happens right here locally. So some people may not be aware of that or know that. So I want to make sure that you guys are aware. So if you are diving into the budget, find out who's getting those funds or the grants that we're applying for on behalf of somebody, and what are those strings attached, or what that position entails, things of that nature. So I just think that that's really important to kind of to mention. There was a workshop that happened in the county, I believe it was Tuesday. There's a big talk about animal care and control. They want to renovate the old facility. There was a huge, there's a pretty spicy, heated debate between Sachs and Weiss, which was pretty interesting. They didn't, most of the commission did not want to delay in animal care and control. However, Sachs was saying that the current location that they were looking to renovate was too small, that they may want to consider something in ag land, which I thought was interesting. Because, and this is just me, this is just my observation, that if you were to move animal care control into ag land that a certain developer has been wanting, that might be beneficial to some of those people in the West Boynton, Delray,
interesting
Glades area. But the commission basically wanted to continue with the plan, but they were okay with looking at ag land for larger animals. So like if we, the county takes in all animals regardless, and they will take care of them. So if a pet is surrendered to the county,
Except for iguanas, apparently.
oh,
That's why they're my dad had one in his pool the other day. A big one.
Really?
Yeah, he said he was like walking on the edge of the pool. Sorry, totally derailed for a second. Walking on the edge of the pool, and he was like laying out, and he went to go like shoo it away, and it scrambled and fell into the pool.
Whoops.
Crawl along the floor. Pool.
We had one outside of our house one time that got really cold. That was like it looked like it was dead, and then 3 days later it got up and
resurrected
yeah,
in the grave, came back 3 days later.
It was funny.
Okay,
so anyway,
so
animal care and control. They basically wanted to go forward with the
that
renovation.
was going to be a very expensive renovation, right?
Yes, I mean it still is. But it's
Did they
approved,
tone it
it's
down
ready
a little
to go. No,
Where is that now?
it's on Belvedere.
Is that where we went?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's on Belvedere.
That's not a very big location.
No, it's not very big, but they are renovating it. They're going to make it where that you surrender the pets in one area and you adopt in another, and things of that nature. The sketches and everything look like a very nice facility, but not, I mean, there's no marbles on the wall or anything of that nature.
Because the one of them looked really nice. I was like, that's for it. Like, I mean.
So I think it's okay. But they are willing to look for a property out west a little bit more to be able to do with, the larger animals.
What does that mean, larger animals?
Like
horses?
cows,
like
pigs?
they can get cows, pigs, like farm animals.
Really?
Yeah, they
that
will
people will drop off there?
They usually get about, I think they said 4 to 6 horses a year.
Oh, what do they do with the horses?
They try to
Rehome it?
Yeah, they rehome them. So that was very interesting. And then there was talk about the governmental center. I think I mentioned this a little bit last time I was on. But Gannon and Ann Gannon and Dorothy Jack showed up for this meeting and wanted to talk about the governmental center, the workshop as well. They both complained about how their employees live outside of out of West Palm Beach, and that they were finding it very difficult to find employees. Because they didn't want to drive into the city, and then they couldn't live in the city because it's become unaffordable.
Right.
So they want to move their locations out west. They've been, actually asking for this for several years now. But they basically were like, if you renovate the governmental center, which is on Olive in West Palm Beach, we'd rather be moved out. We'd rather be moved west. It was suggested that where the new judicial building is to go up a couple more floors and add commission there and get rid of the governmental center the way that it is. Maybe sell it.
Oh, pretty penny.
Because
pretty penny.
Exactly. So if they could take a couple go up a couple floors
in the judicial building?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then that way, then you have commission and you judicial together. So then you have safety. So then that becomes their chambers, all of that kind of stuff. So that wasn't so bad.
That's interesting.
A few of the commissioners even wanted to do a brand new building, a little bit more west.
Right. I remember
which
that
was by like the Palm
conversation.
Beach County or by the Kennel Club.
Okay.
So they were looking for land there. So this is kind of interesting how this is going to play out, because then you have the West Palm Beach aspects of it, and so imagine having all of those employees not having to go downtown in West Palm
gosh,
Beach.
it's hard.
So,
it's so bad.
yeah, it's really bad. So there was a couple options there, which I thought was pretty interesting. And then another thing is that like we kind of learned that through COVID that people have more flexible work schedules and things of that nature. So people who live in West Palm Beach, they're more lax. They're not so structured, running by them, government is structured. Like it's 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. There's traffic that goes in there, all of that kind of stuff. So not necessary. So they're not like your multi commuters. They're not really taking the train in. They're not taking, the bus in, because government is structured. You have to,
Be there at a
where
certain time.
especially when you're dealing with like the property appraiser's office and the tax collector's office, and
You have to be there and
the
open
clerk of courts
on time.
Right. So it's like you can't stagger your employees to come so that traffic's a little easier or anything of that nature. So it's like it's very structured. So it's like city people now are becoming more entrepreneurs. They're more
They work from home and
more
they have a
flexible
more
schedules, and they are going to use your mass transit and things of that nature. So I kind of, just my observation, getting the government out of downtown West Palm Beach would solve a lot of their traffic issues and a lot of their problems, and in my personal opinion, not that means anything, but I just thought, so I kind of like how they're looking at maybe going a different direction with this, and I would even be okay with adding floors to the judicial center, just for the county commission and moving all of the other
if it's
services out.
just the county commission, then it's the county commissioner's offices,
And
the
then you'd have
chambers, and then staff, and then
You'd have department
the
staff.
department staff. Yeah.
So I just thought that was interesting, definitely something to look at. And then they talked about, then they did a group meeting with the Board of County Commissioners and the League of Cities about infrastructure sales tax.
Ooh.
So infrastructure sales tax is due to sunset.
Yeah.
It's now because it's based on an amount.
Yeah.
I can't remember what that amount was, and I forgot to write it down. But it's basically going to sunset at the end of 2025.
Is that?
But it's
what-
going to sunset early because of they hit the amount.
That's the early date.
Is that what Palm Beach County calls its 1%?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize they called it infrastructure tax.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the money goes, part of it goes to the county, part of it goes to the cities, and part of it goes to the school board.
Yeah. So 50% goes to the school board, 50%.
Wow.
50% goes to Palm Beach County, but 20% of the 50% goes to the municipalities.
And we have, on top of it, we voted to give ourselves more taxes for the school board. The school board
Wow.
makes so much bloody money.
You're preaching to the choir on that one.
I know.
Right.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, so we have our regular property tax money that goes to the school board. And then we have this extra tax money that they voted on last time. And then we have the infrastructure tax money that goes to the school board.
So it was very interesting because the cities were like, we need this money, we need this money, we need this money. And then it was like, I'm like, oh, they're kind of looking at like the county is like their baby mama, like, or their baby daddy, like it was so interesting, the way that they were communicating, because the cities were like, well, what do? We need this money, we need this money. And the county was like, our citizens are taxed. We told them that we would only do this for 10 years. That's what we need to do. We need to stick to it. We need to make sure that if we got the money that we needed, that it needs to be sunsetted. And then if we need to, and then if somebody wants to put together a plan to go after the voters and ask them for more money in 26, then you can do that.
Right, because they had to decide now if they're going to put it on the ballot in 24.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
And so there's not enough time to do it in 24 based on everybody's
So it's going to
talk.
sunset.
So it's going to sunset.
Unlike in Broward, where they
Sweet!
voted it into perpetuity. There's no expiration date in Broward.
Broward's going to
But
Broward.
the talk is that it was suggested of going to the voters and asking for a dedicated funding source for transportation. That the county may be looking to do that instead, and let the school board. I guess school board may be doing their own, and may
No.
yeah.
No.
No, I think we'd all get far behind.
$5 billion. $5 billion, over 5.6 billion dollars with a B. To
And then
teach
you have to
children.
take 50% of our,
That's
That's
crazy.
that's part of that budget.
No,
like
I
they're
know.
part of their $5
I
billion
know.
is our money. But that's $25,000 per student.
It's
The
crazy.
numbers
That's
are still
more
the
than
same
my-
as they were.
That's more than my private undergrad university cost when I was in it.
It's
Right?
double what the private school tuition is.
Yeah.
And then some. What I pay for private school tuition for my kids.
But none of it goes to the students. Nobody's helping the freaking
No,
kids.
that's why they sold the teachers. This is what they did last time. They convinced the teachers to all get behind the tax, saying that if we don't get this tax money, then we're going to lose our mental health services. And I was like, you do realize that the school budget right now should be paying about $20,000 to $22,000. At that time, it was about $20,000 to $23,000 per student. Is what the budget is. That's not enough money to have mental health services. No, they needed the tax. They,
Yeah.
they convinced the teachers that if they didn't get the tax, then they weren't going to get the
Well,
mental
and
health
that's a whole
services that they
nother
needed.
aspects of like the school board does the same thing that the county and the federal government does as far as like NGOs.
Yeah.
Like there is an administrative cut
Oh
on
my
everything.
gosh.
Well,
It's insane.
and the organizations that they work with that are collecting data on our students.
Yep.
You know, it's the influence that those organizations have over the administration, over some of the school board members. I mean, I don't know if you guys caught any of the school board meeting in Broward on Tuesday.
I can't watch school board meetings. They
I-
make my blood pressure
I
go really,
did-
really high.
I did
And
watch
I don't have kids in
Tori.
public
Yes,
school.
our,
oh, I watched Tori
oh,
give
yes.
lay down the blood.
Yes.
Go Tori.
Yes. Yes.
And it was over.
He let them have it.
It was over the fact that the administration slid in the revised contract with the union Friday before the meeting. Like
And then it went public. They were leaking stuff.
stuff was being leaked out of closed door meetings.
They started yelling at him that he was a liar, and he was like,
You
"Nope."
know who that was? That was the BTU president, Anna Fusco.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like that the Broward Teacher Union is all up in the Broward School Board stuff, and not, and it's not.
Well, you know, she collects a paycheck from both.
She collects a paycheck from the
How
school
is
board.
that? How is that?
From the
is that
school
even-
district. From the school district.
How is that even possible? Like, what is
How
her
is
job?
that ethical?
She's, I guess, technically still employed by the school district.
Inspector General.
And she's still
Inspector
she's
General.
the school board or the union
We
president.
need to file a complaint with the Inspector General.
Yeah, well, I mean, Tori was calling for outside investigation.
I know. I saw
Tuesday.
that. So
Yeah.
he can do it. He can pull the
Yeah.
Inspector General right in.
I
That's
just-
what they're there for.
Yep.
It's like, you know, new superintendent, same problems.
Oh yeah. Well, because they're not going to hire a superintendent that's actually going to do anything to change anything. That'd be insane. They would be risking their six-figure salary, and I mean, like our superintendent in Palm Beach County makes $350,000 a year. The governor only makes $150,000.
Yeah.
Their superintendent in Palm Beach County makes $350,000 a year, plus his car allowance, plus his security allowance, plus his papers and what's it called, like office supplies,
Oh.
He's got expenditures.
and
as well.
his health insurance package and the whole shebang.
Of
So
course,
he's probably
of
making
course.
$400,000. He's making as much as the president of the United States of America.
All I gotta say is-
Superintendent. I told you there'd be another soapbox rant.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
I don't know how we can change the culture and change
Parents have to. Parents
in Broward
have to
specifically. Just the administration and the district is so the
The
culture
people
is
have
so
to fight
ingrained.
back. The people have to. This is the only
Yeah.
way it's going to happen. And until the parents get pissed off enough, and the constituents get pissed off enough about their tax dollars going, and that's why we have to spread the word. Like that's why we here on the podcast and everywhere else get the word out. Do you know how much money is the Broward County school budget?
It's more than Palm Beach counties.
Yeah.
It's way more.
Yeah.
It's over. I think it's over 6.
And then how much does the teachers get out of that?
$40,000 a year.
I think now
48.
Well, the sad part is I think the starting salary now is closer to 50 with this new because they did pass the contract. But you know, long-term teachers
They don't get that much more. They don't get a
they're
whole lot
not
more than
they're
that.
not making a whole lot
My
more.
friend
becau-
is a teacher. She's been making the same. She's been a teacher in the Palm Beach County School District for 13 years. First of all, they don't get tenure anymore, so she has to renew her contract every single year,
yeah.
which means that they can, decide to toss her, whatever. I don't think they will because they're at a teacher shortage.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure she's not making a whole lot more than she did 13 years ago when
Yeah.
she started.
Yeah.
There's no, 50% inflation happening there, which is what's happening in the grocery store.
Right.
Olive oil, thank you. I told you guys, right?
Anything.
Yeah.
Olive oil.
Yeah.
Ah!
Creamer just went up too.
Yeah.
I was
crazy.
I do the majority of my grocery shopping at Aldi.
I went to Aldi's today. I got ground lamb.
Yes.
For $5.60 a pound.
Well, because they haven't had ground beef. I mean, my Aldi's been out of ground beef a lot lately, so I've gotten lamb quite a bit.
I've been excited. I'm
But
excited.
I
with lamb.
can't believe how much. Like I'm just buying for myself, and I don't buy a lot of filler. I buy produce, meat, that kind of stuff. But it's just over the last 3-4 years, like the cost
It's insane.
has like doubled.
It's
My
insane.
grocery bill every week has doubled.
Yeah, and we just had to. My son, we're now having to. He's for a little while till we get some health things taken care of. He has to go gluten-free and dairy-free. Do you know how much more expensive it is
I do.
to have gluten-free and dairy-free food?
It's
Yeah.
more expensive to eat healthy than it is.
Oh,
to
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So now I have to buy gluten.
yeah.
And he's like a 5-year-old kid. He doesn't understand why he can't. Like, I mean, he understands to some level, but it's not like he
Yeah.
still likes what he likes. He likes
Yeah.
pasta.
Well,
he
I
likes
was
his-
reading. I was reading an article the other day that they were talking with a couple restaurants. I think it was on Del Rey. I think it was on Atlantic Avenue. That average drinks are $25 a drink now.
Holy moly! Oh,
Yeah, we don't
and
go
they're-
out
and they're like,
for drinks.
you know, because it's like, oh, how is it so expensive? And they're like, just the cost of limes have gone up 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything.
we live in freaking Florida.
yeah.
You would think the limes would be cheap here.
Nope. The
If you
tequila,
grow
we
your
used
own.
to buy this tequila from Costco. We used to buy the Costco brand tequila. It was, I've discovered it during COVID. Drank too much of it probably during COVID. Confession time.
Tequila.
What am I going to do? And I think it was $14 for like, and it was good. It's good tequila. I'm pretty sure it's like, not Tito's, that's vodka. What's the big tequila? Anyway, it's like Costco brand. You know how they repackage stuff
Yeah.
in Costco.
Patron.
I might have been. No, I think it was Dawn.
Anyways.
I don't. Anyways, it's a good one that's packaged in the Costco brand, but it's like
Yeah.
distilled in the same
Right.
whatever. Anyway, less than a little over a year ago, they were out of it. We were like, oh, they're out of it. That's a bummer. And then we go back and they have it. They had repackaged it, and it had gone up from like $15 to like $32.
Wow.
Wow.
We don't really buy tequila anymore. I mean,
Wow.
we cut back a lot anyway, but still, yeah. So like, I was like, so if drinks are, there we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, that explains it. If they have to cover their costs.
So it's crazy. It's
Well,
like-
and when you go out and you order a drink out, I think the biggest cost is payroll.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, like paying the wages of that bartender or that
Mhm.
hostess, that server.
The bar back. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's hard. It's hard getting good people to work. Like
Yeah.
people just
Well,
like
especially in that industry,
Yeah.
right?
It's always been hard in that
yeah.
industry.
Yeah.
And then after COVID.
Well,
it's
and then it was like, you know, that was the ideal job for teenagers and young adults,
Mhm.
right? And now it's like it's too much work for them and not
They don't
enough
wanna
money,
work.
so they don't want to do it.
Well,
They
my
don't
kids
want to work.
cannot wait to work. My daughter cannot wait till she turns 14. She can work in Publix.
I begged my daughter to get like a waitressing job,
14.
my youngest
I thought it
one.
was 16.
They can start
Um,
at 14, like 4 hours a week.
Oh.
You know, I begged my youngest like from the time she was like 18 to like get a waitressing job. I'm like, you can make really good tips. She refused. She refused. I
I
was
don't want to
just
be in
like,
the service industry.
I'm like this.
I
I'm
mean,
like,
to
it's
be
such
honest,
good
I get it.
exper-
People
I get
are
it too,
rude.
but it's such a good experience.
my first
you know?
job was at Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
Summer
So
I was
Lexi worked
16
there, too.
and yeah, dealing with people that haven't had their coffee yet at 7 in the morning.
My first job, my first big girl job, I babysat up until I could get a real job.
Yeah.
Was the Boca Resort when I was 18.
Oh.
And I was a babysitter, and then I worked in the activities department. So I like ran like kids programs, and I was a babysitter. Man, I made bank because they would charge. Okay, so I was turned 18 in 2003. So this is 20 years. Gosh, 20 years ago.
No,
21.
21. Yeah.
21
Yeah,
years ago.
That's when I graduated from college.
23 years ago. I would charge, it was $12 for the first kid, $14 for the second kid, $16 for the third kid, $18 for the fourth kid that you were babysitting. And then the parents would tip you, and you had to have a 3-hour minimum. And most of the time the kids were sleeping, and they would feed you.
When I
It was
babysat,
was
great.
that
I
at the
got
beach
paid-
club or was that inside the resort?
Both. You could get babysitting gigs wherever. You could say, I only want to work nights, and so you'd only work nights. You could say, I want to work
I
days,
grew-
and you take the kids to the
I
pool.
grew up in a small hick town. I had to babysit my cousins or the farmers' kids down the street. I got paid in raw milk.
Yeah.
Raw milk.
Well, raw milk. Now I would take raw milk. I'm like, pay me in raw milk. I'll do whatever you need. No, I'm just
So-
kidding.
How
so
about
good.
a
But-
pig?
So
I know.
good.
I actually
So
called
good.
a few years ago when I was looking for some like side work. I was like, I need to go get out and do some stuff. And I called to see they don't do the babysitting thing
Oh, they
anymore.
don't?
I don't
No.
think so. Not then. They might have gone back to it because it's under new management now.
Yeah.
But
Fun
oh,
fact,
man.
I prepared the tax return for that hotel for several years.
really.
Yeah, they were a client of Deloitte's when I worked there. They
yeah.
Blackstone Real Estate Group purchased that hotel and like the Wyndham Hotel chain, and that was my main client when I was in public accounting. So,
Oh my gosh.
and they kept the books at Boca Resort, which is why the
you
South
got to
Florida.
go there.
Oh yeah, so we'd be in some crappy back office with the
Probably
audit team.
Probably close to where I worked.
Like I mean, like
Like
splintery tables and like crappy chairs, and the guests of the hotel were out playing croquet on the lawn. you
Yeah.
know?
No, I know. I worked in the back. So like when I would work on property for like babysitting, we'd go through the back end for stuff, or then like I would do the activities part. And we had the front facing stuff and then the back facing stuff
Yeah.
for the kids. And so the building I used to work in isn't even there anymore. But man, I worked with some of the craziest. I had the craziest stories.
Oh yeah, I
gosh.
bet.
Anyway, that's for another time. Totally off track.
All right. Do we want to hear from our sponsor?
Oh
or
yes,
about
our sponsor, Salvo. So okay, I don't have my little thing here, but I'm just gonna give like a big kind of shout out to Salvo. So Salvo, I got it again. Every week I get to meet with Ro to learn new aspects about Salvo. Our team took a training for it from last week, and we're excited to be using it out in the community. The newest feature that it's going to have is when you do a lookup of a voter, it's going to pull up quickly. You'll be able to find all of their precinct numbers. This is in the new version that will be coming out in the next couple weeks. The next update, you'll be able to find like quickly all of their voter information, their precinct numbers, all of that. Their district numbers, so you know if they're in the district, which is again, if you're out getting petitions signed, you want to be able to look that up quickly. Being able to find that using the Salvo app is great. Everything is in use. You can. I know that Brian's using it for texting. The texting makes it really easy because you can track who you've spoken to and what text message they received and who sent the text message. So you know if you need to send another text message, what you can follow up with and say, and how if they opened it. If they opted out, you'll be able to track all of that in the app. So it makes it very easy to do everything in one-stop shop as opposed to using all different vendors for different things like that. So email, texting, printing, print materials, all at best in market prices.
So easy helping
Brian,
do the
It
testing.
has.
It's so simple.
It's so good. So if you're a candidate, if you're a precincts committee person, or you're a PAC and you're looking to try to have an all-in-one encompassing app, Salvo is the place to go. If you're a We the Locals listener, you get a free guided journey. So you can either do guided journeys where you get one of the experts from Salvo to help you through the process, or you can do it more DIY and say, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this for different pricing based off of your needs and budget. So if you're a We the Locals listener, you can go to salvo.today and sign up and let them know, and you'll get a free guided journey for being our listener. So make sure you check that out. Thank you so much, Salvo. We really appreciate your belief in us, your support in us, and your support of candidates nationwide.
Yes, absolutely. That's
So-
awesome. One little notification that I want to say is that the Palm Beach County REC is having their Lincoln Day dinner. That's on March 15th. It is going to be held at Mar-a-Lago. We have some great speakers lined up. So we do still have tickets available, different options and VIP packages available. So if you are interested in purchasing Lincoln Day for the Palm Beach County REC to support our candidates, please email chairman@palmbeach.gop. Again, that's chairman@palmbeach.gop. We'd love to get that Lincoln Day filled.
And you have something coming up too,
Yes,
right?
even sooner. Wait, when is yours?
March 15th.
Okay, so Monday, March 11th, the Broward GOP is having their inaugural invitational golf event, and actually having it at Trump International Golf Club in West Palm.
Ooh.
So
Fancy.
yeah,
We so fancy.
We still have some slots left on the golf course, and then there is the option to purchase a lunch only ticket. So it's going to be like a whole day thing: golf in the morning, lunch and speakers in the afternoon. I know. I've heard two versions of the keynote speakers. It's either General Mike Flynn or Mike Lindell. They're both going to be there and speaking.
Oh.
And then Mel Kay, who I wasn't familiar with before, but she's going to be there.
Podcaster, right?
Yes. Yes.
Maybe we can get a slip her a card.
Well, unfortunately, I have to work. That's the week of March 15th. It's during the day. And so, but I did purchase an ad. And so We the Locals is supporting the golf event. This is the perfect time of year to have an event like this.
It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
From the pictures I've seen of the course, I'm not a golfer. I tried taking lessons a long time ago, and it's just I couldn't convert that softball swing to a golf swing.
Oh my gosh, same thing. It's the reason I can't play tennis either. Like hardcore. I played
And
tennis
so I
one
do not
time, and
golf.
my friend I was playing with, he was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I cannot chase the ball again. No more. I was like, let's go to the diamond.
I played a few times back. Oh gosh, this was like 2008, and I
It's
I
so
get so
hard
frustrated.
to like adjust when you're so
Yeah.
used to a certain thing. I know my husband
Yeah.
tried to teach me many times. and
Yeah.
I'm like,
So, anyways, you can go to browardgop.com, and it's in our events section on the website, or you can email chairman@browardgop.com for more information. I know they want to pack the room. I don't know if we're having a Lincoln Day or not. Just because we are having this in March, and Lincoln Day's usually in late spring as well. I feel like it would be pretty taxing, intense to have two back-to-back events like that. So this may be our big fundraiser before we get into the thick of primaries and generals. But the team that's put it
These
on.
are two great events, though,
Yeah.
whether it's in Broward or Palm Beach, where if you haven't been to these type of events, you want to kind of start to rub those elbows with their great conservatives in our area. It's a great way to get
get your
involved.
tax return and put some of that money back in.
Refund.
refund.
Tax
Get,
refund.
get your
Just
tax
to go to
refund.
Just to go to Trump
Thank you.
International Golf Course or Mar-a-Lago, you can't go wrong. So
Yeah.
definitely, it's the place to be if you're a conservative in Palm Beach County. That's for sure.
All right. Want to take us out, Jess?
Sure. I did want to mention too that Governor DeSantis signed the bill for Epstein today.
Yay!
So just an
Woohoo!
FYI, we'll get to talk about that.
Oh yeah, we were going to talk about that.
We were going to talk about that.
We'll have to
And
table
I
that for next time.
believe that we also talked about the bill, the election bill that Sabatini
That bill died.
mentioned.
I got confirmation.
Right. So I heard that stalled as well. So whoever called out and put a stop to that, awesome. So that stalled.
Foolish people.
Which one was it?
They were going to have runoffs in the primary.
Oh, right.
You had to
Ugh.
get at least
I
51%
read that.
of the vote.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So
Shenanigans.
Stop messing with us.
yeah. So
Leave us
thankfully
alone,
that went
Tallahassee.
away.
Jeez.
So I want to go ahead and I want to mention our sponsor once again, Salvo.today. Be sure to check us out on X, We the Locals FL, on Facebook, We the Locals, our website. If you are interested in finding out about our sponsor opportunities, we're going to do some special candidate sponsorship availability coming after the municipals as well. So be on the lookout for that. You can so our website is wethelocalspodcast.com. You can check us out. You can send us an email at wethelocalsfl@gmail.com. Be sure to like, subscribe, share. Make sure to make any comments. We'll try to respond if you do them in the replay or after the live. So have a great night, everybody, and stay local.
Bye.
Bye.